filled with comments. You have to see what she writes me. Okay, we are live. Thank you all for being here. Our Emuna and Bitachon Shi'u. I think this is 13. I think maybe it might be even 14. I have to go back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's 14. It might be 14. We'll look at it later and we'll rename it. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Now I'm looking for my Zoom, which disappeared. Here it is. And we are live post-Pesach, believe it or not. We made it. We did it. We freed ourselves from the Mitzrayim, hopefully. But now I was with my friend Nechama Labor yesterday on the Grow, every day 5:30. I don't know if she's doing it every day, but it was on yesterday. We danced. I danced on the beach yesterday with them. You should watch the recording. It was amazing. Yeah, I was in Bat Beach. Oh, I see there's light behind me. So let me just shade that out. And it was really awesome. I had ladies from all around the world, and we were dancing together at the beach in Bat Yam. It was pretty awesome. With Keren Sardo. You know Keren? She does the dance for the Grow. So Baruch Hashem, we had that. And thank you all for being here. Appreciate you coming on. This is our Emuna Bitachon Chabura. We meet usually on Tuesdays. I have to see if that's going to stay. Want to see if everyone is committed to our shi'ul, because it's getting a little hard. I know people are busy. Baruch Hashem, there's smachot and do good things. Oh, so I was saying about Nechama. We were saying how it's after Pesach. We should be feeling free and lighter, and yet we're feeling heavy. Like start a full week, right? We have to start doing things and accomplishing and getting to our schedules that we put on hold for after Pesach. So she was just saying, is it just me? And she's also planning a wedding, Baruch Hashem. Her daughter's getting married in June. Yeah, if anybody's in America, you can go. She invited everyone to her daughter's wedding in Razag in Crown Heights. And by the way, she got a bracha in our Lev Ha'am group. We gave her daughter her bracha. Remember we had the displaced people with me on one of the Zooms? Me and them were in the car, and we gave her daughter a bracha, Ashira, that she should get married. And Baruch Hashem, just a little bit after that, she met this boy. So she was remembering, that Zoom that we were on together, and her daughter came on and say hello. So, by the way, don't belittle brachos, because a bracha has a tremendous koach. It says, Al teheh birkat hediot kala be'enecha. You should never make it seem like a bracha of an ordinary person, that it's never minimize it, because you don't know what bracha is going to come true with. I was just actually at another engagement. Pesach night, I made a l'chaim at a table, and I told my friend, I said, your son's ready for shidduchim, and I gave him a bracha, made a l'chaim. Lo and behold, the other day he was engaged to somebody else in our community. It was such a simcha. It was so amazing. I know them already from the States. They used to give a shir in his house in the States. They used to give a shir, parsha shir. So Baruch Hashem, I was in their house Pesach, and I gave him a bracha. I saw him grow up. I'm like, wow, this kid's ready for shidduchim. So never stop giving brachos, and always appreciate a bracha and say amen when somebody gives you a bracha. Okay, I don't know where we left off because I didn't get to listen to our last year. So we are still in the Hagdama of the Chavot HaLevavot, and we're talking about the benefits, the pros and the cons of having bitachon or not having bitachon. And here in the Chavot HaLevavot, we're talking about worldly benefits of bitachon. By the way, I want to dedicate this year. As usual, we started this year as a schut for Benjamin Early, Benjamin Meir ben Rachel, Ezrat Hashem Tehenish Mato Began Eden, Hashem Yinkom Damo. His mother, very, very special. She's starting, I'm going to be posting it, a home, as like a place to just relax and enjoy. The screen is not so clear. For Chayalim and Chayalot in Tzfat. It's going to be called Bet Benyamin. going to be very special. And they're trying to raise money to try to, what happened to the screen? Try to raise money to be able to help them to afford it. Can you see me clearly? I look like I'm white. Okay, now the color's coming back because I cleaned the lens. And so I'll be posting it Bezrat Hashem. So this should be the zchut for him. Let's say a parak of Tehillim we said for the Chayalim, especially now that they're going into Rafia. Hashem, Bezrat Hashem should protect them. We start with Tehillim. Bezrat Hashem, we should see a shuot, all our captives home safely very soon. And it should be also the zchut for Victor Miller. Remember his name, his Hebrew name? Ashira, if you know it, if you could unmute. I posted it, but I can't look at it right now. Victor Miller, Zchutot Tagen Aleinu, Tanishmato Began Eden. We're learning his sefer on the Perush on the Chavot Levavot. Okay, let's say Shir Malot Esainai. Shir Malot Esainai El Hearim Me'ain Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Al Yiten Lamot Reglecha Al Yanum Shomrecha. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל, אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך, על יד ימינך, יומם השמש לא יככה וירח בלילה, אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך, אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם. And I'll say the tefillah, the geula, that we say usually together. You can answer amen if you don't have it. I did post it on the group, I believe, the Emuna and Bitachon Chabura group. יהי רצון לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אב רחמן, שומע תפילה, שתהא תפילתנו רצויה ואהובה מלפניך, ותתקבל ברצון ברחמים במהרה בימינו. רצנה נגע עלינו גאולה שלמה, גאולה בחסד ורחמים גדולים, מלא רחמים תקום תרחם ציון, כי עת לכן עינה כי בא מועד, למען שכינתך, למען מקדשך, למען ארצך, למען עמך רוצה את קרבתך, המייחלים לראות בתפארת עוזך, שמחנו אבינו בישועתך וישועתנו, שלח לנו את אליהו הנביא, זכור לטוב עם משיח בן דוד, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך במהרה בימינו, ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יגן לי בישועתך, אשיר על אדוני, כי גמל עליי, יהיו לרצון נמרי פי וגיון ליבי. לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי, ונאמר, אמן. תהא נשמתו של דוד בן שמעון בגן עדן, השם ינקום דמו. His mother wrote this tefillah as a zchus for him. If you're not on my Lev Ha'am group, that's where I post my tefillot. We have different times of the day that I post different tefillos. And a meditation I do when I remember at night, to get us into Ahavat Yisrael, Ahavat Hashem, Todah, and davening for the Geula. We try to do this with Lev Ha'am daily. So if you're not on it, we'd like to join, please send me a text or an email, nishadlevha'am@gmail.com. And Bezrat Hashem, we should hear Besorot Tovot, Yeshuot, V'nechamot. So we are learning the Chavot HaLevavot, Sha'ar Bitachon. We're also using Rav Gamliel Sefer on Tiv HaEmuna, on Emuna, which gives us really gorgeous lessons in Bitachon and Emuna. Today I'm using a different version of it, not the book itself, so I apologize if it takes me longer to explain it. But I don't have my Sefer with me, so I'm looking at photos of it, the notes. So we are talking about now worldly benefits of Bitachon. This is what we're up to in the Akdama. Earlier, the author enumerated the benefits of living with Bitachon, which includes the benefit of the mind, right? We spoke about Menuchat HaNefesh, Menuchat HaGuf, and the benefits of the soul. And now it's about the Bitachon, the To'elet of Bitachon Ba'olam, in worldly ways, in material ways. And among them, he says, Menuchat HaLev min HaDeagot HaOlamiyot, tranquility of the mind, how important that is, right? Menuchat HaNefesh, and the lev is related to the heart and the mind, are connected. That a person who has bitachon has tranquility of the mind from the effects of worldly worries, right? We have a lot of things to worry about, our parnasa, different things in our life. V'ashalva minidnud hanefesh, and also it gives you calmness from the disturbances of the mind, like nidnud. It's like a nudnik. It comes from the same lashon, nidnud. You know what a nudnik is? Somebody's a nudnik. He pesters you. He's a nudge, right? Always nudging you. Nidnud hanefesh. Always your mind is thinking. וצערה לחיסרון התאוותיה הגופיות. The distress that could be caused by being deprived of physical pleasures. Sometimes if we don't have, right? Sometimes an ani doesn't have. And from that, he's also disturbed from being able to have bitachon in Hashem. Rav Victor explains, let's say a person doesn't live with bitachon, and he follows what he thinks is good for him. And then the lack of pleasures that he thinks he needs is distressful for him. But a man who lives with bitachon, what does he realize? That he's better off without these physical pleasures, because Hashem would have given them to him if he thought that it was good for him. Right? Sometimes we think we know what's good for us. Rav Victor Miller HaKohen ben Rav Yisrael Miller. Rav Victor HaKohen ben Rav Yisrael Miller Tehenish Mata B'Gan Eden Zchuto Tagen Aleinu. I remember I went to hear a hesped from Rav David Goldwasser. Rav Victor was his Rebbe, and Rav Goldwasser was my Rebbe. He was crying. He was crying at the zchut that we had to have him in our generation. Right? He would appreciate everything in life. He would walk on the streets, notice the trees, the fruits, the blossoms. He would always comment, always be grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, always had to say thank you and to appreciate all that we have. And this is a zchut that we had him. If you read, he has a book on marriage, Secrets of Marriage. No, the 10 Commandments to think of marriage. Plenty of other Sfarim on Chumash and different Hashkafa Sfarim. It's kedai to pick up his Sfarim or to listen to Shiurim. I'm sure you can get them online today. Very, very special, Rav Victor. Zchuto Tagen Aleinu. So going back to here, he's saying that if a person is going to have all these physical pleasures, no, that's not what he needs. Hashem would give it to him. If he doesn't have it, it means it's not good for him, right? And he thought that they were good for him. This man is not at all affected by the lack of some of these luxuries and pleasures that others desire so much. And therefore, this man lives quietly, confidently, calmly in this world. Like it says in Yirmiyahu, Baruch HaGever, what's the song? Baruch HaGever, da-da-da-da, Asher Yiftach B'Hashem, V'Yahaya Hashem Yiftacho. Blessed is the man who trusts in Hashem, and that Hashem will be his security, right? If you're trusting in Hashem, Hashem's going to give you what you need. So that's the reward. The reward for trusting in Hashem is that Hashem is going to fulfill his trust, right, in him. And that doesn't mean that this is his entire reward, right? There's more than that. If a person has trust in Hashem, he'll certainly earn a great reward in Olam Haba. It's not only here in Olam Hazeh, but it's also in Olam Haba. 1 second. To see what page I'm on. This is taking me backwards. Okay. 65. Sorry. Okay, so then continues to say, it's telling us that his reward will not only be in Olam Haba, but also be in Olam Hazeh. Even in this world, right? If we have what we need, we're not concerned, we're not worried, right? We're trusting in a HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then what else do we need? We're not worried. He continues to say, Vaya ke'etz shatul al mayim. He's going to be like a tree planted by waters. Ve'al yuchal yishlach shorshav. Ve'al yuval yishlach shorshav. It spreads its roots along a stream. This is the tree, right? Spreading roots means that the tree is standing firmly, right? It has so many roots, it's standing firmly. And when a person is trusting in Hashem, he too will stand more firmly in Olam Hazeh, because he doesn't have what to worry about. He has his needs. What's another benefit of having bitachon? He says here, talks about freedom from travel. Let's see what he means. Menuchat hanefesh milechet bedrachim harechokim. Calmness of the mind frees him from the need to go out on distant journeys. When people travel far from home, it's because they feel their livelihood will suffer if they don't go. That one who lives with bitachon, people who have doctors, lawyers, they come to here Israel, they make aliyah, they travel every few weeks, sometimes every week. You have people who are traveling for work, right? They have to go far to make the money and wouldn't be able to sustain themselves if they just worked here. So one who lives with bitachon knows that he can get his livelihood without actually exerting. Now, I'm not judging anybody that does this, but here we were talking about the chavot halavavot. Asher hi mechale hagufot. It wears out the body to travel a lot, right? Traveling makes you tired. Umemaheret hashlamat yemei hachayim. It hastens the end of life, right? It makes your days shorter, so to speak. People who do a great deal of traveling, Rabbi Victor Miller tells us, are going to end up living shorter lives because it occupies their energies. They use up their bodies, and therefore they're not capable of living sometimes in a successful way, and everything is bothering them. Sometimes they suffer from certain health issues. And one of the problems with traveling is also, he says, exposure to germs. We know during Corona, everybody was wearing the masks on the planes, right? And therefore, a person may not be immune, he says, to these germs. And generally speaking, he says, we're only protected against our local germs. And therefore, when a person goes to different countries, they may fall victim to all different types of germs that are affecting him. Going back to the tree, he has a footnote here. He says, like the tree that's rooted in the ground and the roots spread along the waters, right? Planted by the waters, and it spreads its roots along the stream. And it does not see when heat comes, right? The foliage is fresh. It's not worried in the year of a drought because it has such roots and such foliage. It's not going to stop producing fruit. And that's why this type of a tree is the beneficial. That's a type of a tree that's not going to be able to be. It's going to be able to have resources without having to worry about the water. So that's what he was comparing. We said before, Al Yuval Yishlach Shorshav, that so too we stand firmly in the ground when we have bitachon. Okay. Welcome, Debbie. This is Rabbi Victor Miller, talks about the germs. You know Rabbi Victor. Come on. It's not the Chavot HaLevavot. Chavot HaLevavot is talking about the travels. Rabbi Victor is giving a little bit more. And he says about the traveling with the germs, he continues to say, he says this is going to happen even if he goes to Eretz Yisrael. It's especially true when he's worn out from the trip and immediately wants to go and look at the land. At that point, his resistance is lower because of his traveling. And on top of that, he's vulnerable to unfamiliar diseases. He knows when you come to Eretz Yisrael, you're not staying home. It's not vacation. You're going, you're looking at all the views, the Nof, you're going to Sfat, you're going to all the Kivrei Tzadikim up north. You're not going to stay home. He said you're going to be weary. It's going to be hard for him if he's traveling, and then he's going to want to go and sightsee. And he says here, the Chovos HaLevavot, going back to it, it says, Ina baderech kochi, kitzer yamai. This is a pasuk in Tehillim, Perikuf Bet, 102. He afflicted my strength on the road, and he shortened my days. This is where he's getting the source from. A lot of the things that Chovos HaLevavot says are sourced from different places in the Torah or Gemara. And he tells us a tale. V'ne'emar tells us a story. Al echad min ha'prushim, one of the pious people, ki alach el eretz rechoka levakesh hateref. He set out to a far journey to go for his parnasa, for his livelihood. Betchilat prishuto, the beginning of his career, of being a servant of Hashem. ופגע אדם אחד מעובדי כוכבים בעיר אשר הלך אליה. And he met a man in the city that he went to. It says, may have been in the Far East, very far place. Amar lo Parush, this pious man, told this Oved Avodah Zarah, this guy who's, right, idol worshiper, Kama aten betachlit ha'ivaron. How blind you people are. Ume'ut ha'avana ba'avodatechem lakochavim. And how little is the understanding that you have in serving idols, which are nothing but a piece of wood. Like, what is it, right? Wood and stone. Amar lo ha'am goshi. The idolater, the one who does Avodah Zarah, he was a priest. And he tells him, sorry. No, this is not it. One second. What happened to the page? He tells him, Uma ata over, and what do you worship? Amar le haperush. The pious man said, Ani oved et haboreh. I serve the Creator, Kol Yachol, the one who's all powerful. Hamechalkel echad, the one who sustains all. Hamatrif, the one who feeds the world. Asher en kamohu, the one that there's no one like him. Amar lo ha'em goshi. The idolater said to him, Palcha soter et dvarecha. Said, that may be, but your present actions contradict your words. What's his actions? That he traveled so far to go to work. Amar le haparush ve'ech. Said to him, how so? Amar lo, he said to him, ilu haya ma she'amarta emet. If what you said is true, haya metrifecha be'ircha. Hashem would provide for you in your home city. Why are you coming here? Just as he's providing for you here in the Far East, Hashem would have given you what you needed where you are, where you live. You could have just stayed home. Why are you traveling so far? You wouldn't need to go to such a far out country if you believe that Hashem supports you. Why didn't you stay in your own city? And so the argument of the pious was cut short. And he went back to his country. From that time on, he took upon himself to be porish. To be porish means to stay away from physical things, to abstain, right, from things of physicality. And from here was regarding traveling, right, from traveling for unnecessary things. And he didn't even leave his city after that. He got musar from this guy, and he listened to him. Umihen continues the Chavot HaLevavot, Menuchat HaNefesh ve'aguf, and among the benefits of the Menuchat HaNefesh and the Guf that we're talking about, the peace of mind and the peace of our body from having to engage in all kinds of challenging, difficult work, all the forms of work that wear out the body. When a man trusts in Hashem, does he have to work so hard? Not so hard to trust in Hashem, right? When he trusts in Hashem to help him in all areas, including in his livelihood, in Parnasa, he still has to do something, but he doesn't have to exert himself to such an extent, right, to do extremely difficult things. Now, for some people, they do still travel. This is their Parnasa, they're a doctor, this is where they practice all their lives, and now they move here. It's very hard for them to start with all the, changing all the paperwork and starting to have the clientele and all that. For some people, it's not kedai. But everybody has to know what's good for them. But if you don't have to travel, why should you travel? Leave it up to Hashem to find you the job that you need. And sometimes Hashem sends you such shlichim, messengers. And we have to see that sometimes Hashem is sending us a messenger. It's a messenger from Hashem. Maybe this person is going to be able to help you. And you have to just believe and daven to Hashem that He's going to provide for you what you need and send you the right shlichim. It says Hashem, we always daven. Hashem should send us shlichim tovim, good shlichim, good messengers. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was talking to my aunt, and she's saying to me, talking about my work, I give shiurim. She said, yeah, why don't you get a job? I said, I do work part-time besides giving shiurim. I said to her, actually, I said, there's somebody who wants me to work and do some marketing and, help him out. She's like, what do you need this kind of jobs? Get a regular job. Literally the next day after I said this person called me 9 in the morning. I want to meet with you. Like, I didn't even say, I just said to her, I have, Baruch Hashem, I had an offer. And boom, it came about. All the more so when we put our trust in Hashem, we daven, Hashem, help me. Please give me all the needs that I have, all that I need, right? And all that I have, please help me to provide for my family and for my wife, for my home, my children. We have to put our trust in Hashem. So if a person has to travel, it doesn't mean he can't travel. But he's saying here, if you don't have to, why exert yourself? Wear yourself out. Wear your body out. You trust in Hashem. You have Bitachon and Emuna, right? He'll be able to forsake the service of the kings. There are people who are eager to make money, and they think it's necessary for them to try to get close to chashava people. And those times, the people of the king, officers of the king. Here, maybe it's askanim, people you make a lot of money, big businessmen, right? Maybe people in the government to flatter them, maybe politicians, right? And he says this keeps them mind busy. It occupies their mind. They go to parties with people who are sometimes not good influences, says Victor Miller. And they find it necessary to be friendly with such people and to spend such time with them, which is not necessarily a good thing for them. And if they're goyim, they're going to end up having to participate in their celebrations. V'chamos anshehem, and he'll be able to avoid the violence of their people. He'll avoid dealing with difficult and demanding people who might seek to take advantage of them and even victimize them if they don't end up going with these people, he's saying. Meaning, if a person is careful not to go with these people of chukot ha'olam that keep the laws of the world, right? Meaning the Goyish culture, then he's going to have to suffer with what they have to deal with, right? We know when you work in an office, there's all the non-Jewish holidays, right? And then you have people that are not so honest, and people that are taking advantage, that are going to victimize him. So we have to be careful. He says it's dangerous, or Miller tells us, to get close to politicians who knows what they could do to you when they're overwhelmed by their desires and their ambitions, right? They might take advantage. They might disgrace you. Today, unfortunately, we see that there are so many people to the left that are not on the side of the Jews, that used to maybe be more on our side or wasn't so rampant. So we have to be very, very careful, he says, even with politics and even with people of great stature. Put your trust in Hashem, v'aboteach b'Hashem, hu tovea mesibot hateref. He seeks sources of livelihood. Ma sheyesh bo yoter menucha legufo. That offer, the sources of livelihood that offer him to be able to have rest of his body. V'shem tovlo, and also to give him a good name, to give him a good reputation. In contrast, if a person has to go and befriend other people, right? What kind of a reputation does he have? What kind of a life does he have to live? These politicians, they might end up giving him a bad name. If a person, he says, has bitachon, he doesn't have to sell out his good name. And he doesn't have to become subjected to all these great difficulties in the course of his work. He'll find some moderate kind of work, something that's not so complicated, and he'll trust in Hashem that what he's doing now will bring him livelihood. Now, it doesn't mean that he should twiddle his thumbs, Victor Miller says. It doesn't mean that he should do nothing. It doesn't mean he should sit and not look for a job, he says. A person has to be busy working, has to be busy toiling, right? He has to be doing things. But he has to also depend on Hashem that He will bring him the livelihood, and that not these people will make him wealthy. Not knowing these people and having a reputation, that's not necessarily going to give him wealth. And he should be satisfied with a moderate kind of work that doesn't wear out his body and doesn't cause him to lose his good name and doesn't cause him to go and mix with people that are bad company. Upnai lelibo, someone who has bitachon. He has time. Pnai, right? He has time. He has more time for leisure, for his mind. Umashihu mafik yoter lechovot torato, and for what will help him to carry out his obligations, to be able to keep the Torah, to be able to keep the mitzvahs. How many people today, Baruch Hashem, are able to learn Daf Yomi and then go to work, right? Or learn Chavrusa in the morning and then go to work. That's a Baal Bitachon. He doesn't have to spend every single minute of the day just working, right? Yeter emunato, with the rest of his devotion of Emuna to Hashem. A person's idealism, his loyalty to Hashem, and his avodas Hashem will be more successful if he avoids doing these superfluous things, such as going out of his way to mingle with company that's not going to necessarily be successful, right? Among politicians, like he mentioned. He forsakes these things, including difficult and dangerous work, and it will give him peace of mind and the ability to carry out his Torah, his mitzvos. And that includes not only mitzvos that all Jews do, but also the mitzvos of the mind, like having Emuna, like reflection, having Bitachon. When a person has more time, he has more time to think about the things that connect him with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, not just sitting and learning the Torah. Ki hasiba lo tosif lo bechuko. What is he saying? The siba? For such superfluous sources of income, they're not going to add anything to what already was decreed to him. We know that our money was decreed, what we're supposed to make is decreed already from Rosh Hashanah. You think you're going to be able to make more money just because you're making these efforts that are not necessarily good for you, that are not good influences for you. Don't think that way. Think that Hashem has provided for you and already told you what he already provided, told you what you're going to make, right? Earlier on, with Rosh Hashanah, when you davened, and it won't detract anything from it. When a person works, he should know that the sources of income, like selling, business, trading, merchandise, being a farmer, are not going to help him. He's doing it because it's his duty, but it's nothing more than the word of Hashem that causes a man to have a livelihood. Very powerful statement. Of course, we do the work, we do the hishtadlut. That's not what brings us necessarily the parnasa. A person can make money and not have enough money to pay his bills. The parnasa, the sustenance, what we need, that's from Hashem, right? How many times a person toils and works and works and works, and he can't cover the month. But sometimes, all of a sudden, you get a check from someone that owed you money. All of a sudden, you get a reward from, some sort of, you win the lottery. Who gave that to you? Hashem provided to make sure that you have what you need at that time. And that already was decreed previously. So don't think that only your hishtadlut. I'm not saying not to do hishtadlut, not to work, not to be in business. But don't think that that's what's bringing you your parnasa. Ela b'gzerat ha'elokim yitbarach. Nothing will change for him unless it's by the decree of Hashem. Right? If Hashem wills it. Like it says, I think it's Tehillim, Ki lo mimotza umima'arav. From the sunrise, like the meaning here is from a distant place where you're going, nor from sunset in the west, v'lo mimidbar harim, and not from the wilderness of the mountains. Don't think like travelers and explorers that your wealth will come from discovering mines of gold, right? Don't think that you're going to get it from far off places. Ki Elokim shofet, for God is a judge who decides. Ze yashpil v'ze yarim. We know that he'll lower one person and he raises up another person, right? Me'ashpot yarim evyon. We read this in the Hallel in Tehillim. From the lowest of the low, Hashem picks up the evyon, the poor person. Only Hashem can get us from the lowest of the low and bring us to the highest of the high. And we're going now through Sfirat HaOmer, These are the weeks that we're doing our avodas Hashem, where we're being metaken our midot, our ben adam lechavero. Why? So that we will merit to receive the Torah when we get to Har Sinai, when we get to Vav Sivan, to Matan Torah, to Shavuot. We'll be able to be worthy of being on a higher level. We're climbing up the 49 levels of Tum'ah, so that we should be able to achieve Torah mitzvot. And the same is here as well. That when we're doing our Avodas Hashem, when we're working on our Emuna and Bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is raising us up. Mashpot, from the lowest of the lows, Hashem raises a person up. When Hashem sees our ishtadlut, and not only ishtadlut in our avoda, in our service of not service of Hashem, I meant to say in our work, right? In working and trying to get a good job, a good paying job, but really our service of Hashem. Then when Hashem sees that we're mitchazek in Emuna, in Bitachon, in Tefillah, right? Then Hashem is going to give us more. He's going to provide for us more because Hashem is Kol Yachol, and we have to believe that. He says a person who runs around doing dangerous things, looking for a living in out-of-the-way places, right? He should know that he's making a mistake, that whatever he does, it's Hashem and not the vocational choices that's bringing about his livelihood. And it also says, Hashem ro'i lo echsar, right? In Mizmor LeDavid, Perek Chaf Gimel, chapter 23. Hashem is my shepherd, lo echsar, I shall not lack. Bin odeshe yarbitheni al mei menuchot yina'aleni. He causes me to lie down in the meadows, right? Al mei menuchot, and places of, rest, menuchot, to live peacefully. Oh, okay. Okay, love you. Yom Tov. Places that are easy, that are calm, right? Because when you're with Hashem, you're chilling. You're chilling. You know you have Hashem. The place is menucha. We have menucha. We have shekel. We have shalva, and we have Hashem. This is what the Chavot HaLevavot tells us. And B'ezrat Hashem, we hope that with this kavana of understanding the benefits, all the benefits of not having to toil so much, but really to put our trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we will be able to be zocheh to tremendous shalva, menuchat hanefesh, menuchat haguf, of our soul and of our body. And I want to just do a little bit of the Tiv HaEmunah from a Rav, I'm blanking, Rabinovich. What's his first name? Rabinovich. Okay, it'll come to me. Sometimes I blank out.
Gamliel.
Thank you. Ever happened to you when you blank out, Ashira?
I did earlier, remember, with your name.
That's it. I'm making you feel good.
Right.
So let's see. Rav Gamliel talks about, let's see what we're up to here. I'm able to open this up. 1 second. Okay. I think we got up to this part. No, this is not it. 1 second. So sorry, ladies. Trying to open up something. Okay. This is. Okay, he tells us, he talks about actually the Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. But let me just see if he says something before this. 1 second. Okay. I'm having difficulty because it's like two different things together, so I apologize. Okay, so he starts off talking about yeah, that's fine. You resent me two of the same things. the world to come. Let's see what he says here. Let me see if he starts here. It's 37. Here it goes. Okay. The difference between the world and this world and the world to come. And let's see how it relates to our Emuna. He says here that whoever is privileged to live with Emuna, especially if he believes with all his heart that everything is for the best, will definitely taste a semblance of the world to come already in this world. That's what he says. That someone once asked him, what is Olam Haba? And he explains to him the Chazal, that Hashem will be king over the whole earth on the day that Hashem will be one and his name will be one, right? That's what we say. He brings the Chazal. But isn't he one now? He tells him. Rabbi Acha Bar Chanina answers, this world, okay, this world is not like the world to come. In this world, we say, I just spoke to someone about this. We say the bracha of Atov v'ametiv, the one who does good and bestows good, for good news. And we say the bracha of Dayan ha'emet, for when we hear the bad news. And we see the main difference between the world to come and this world is this point, that we recognize that all that Hashem does is for the best, and that the true purpose of all that transpires will eventually be revealed, right? We're going to know, we're going to see in the next world, we're going to be able to see how everything is for the good. And we'll be able to say, Hatov v'ameitiv, even on the things that we say, Baruch Dayan ha'emet, right? That in this world, people don't see the outcome, the conclusion of things. And therefore, their perception of it is bad. So they say, Baruch Dayan ha'emet. Hashem is the judge of truth because he's doing things in judgment. But in the next world, we'll be able to see how it is for the good. And the Mishnah in Brachot says that one is required to bless Hashem for the bad, just as he blesses Hashem for the good. Yet the Mishnah also states that for bad news, the bracha of Dayan ha'emet is said. So Chazal explained the intention of the Mishnah is that one is required to bless Hashem for the bad, just as he is to bless Hashem for the good. Is that one to accept the situation with simcha, with joy? And this has been codified, he says, in the Shulchan Aruch. We have the Shulchan Aruch that tells us all the laws. Over there it also says that a person is required to bless Hashem for the bad that occurs with complete understanding and willingness of the soul, just as he would bless Hashem for the good, for the joy. And this is because bad for Ovdei Hashem is actually their good. It's actually their joy. It's actually their tov. For they accept Hashem with love, that whatever Hashem decrees upon them is tov, right? We see this with tzaddikim. Kolman David Rachmanan Atav Avid, Rabbi Akiva taught us that everything that Hashem does is for the good. Rabbi Akiva is one to talk. He is the one that we mourn during the Omer. 24,000 Talmidim that he lost. And he tells us that whatever Hashem does for the good, he could say, for sure it's not good. How could this be good? Right? And he had to rebuild and start again. But we know that Rabbi Akiva didn't lose hope. And from his 5 Talmidim, one of them was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who wrote the Zohar, right? The deep secrets of the Torah that we can't even fathom and understand. It's a shmir of every house should have a Zohar. That was one of the new Talmidim, the 5 Talmidim that Rabbi Akiva built with. Had Rabbi Akiva lost hope, losing those thousands of Talmidim, and given up, we wouldn't have the Torah that we have today. We wouldn't be able to have the Emuna and the Bitachon that we have today. And we live with this understanding that we don't see. We don't understand what we see. It's like I always say, it's like the beautiful, what's it called? Tapestry that somebody sews. And you see the back of it, you see it's like balagan, knots, and different colors. And Everything's going this way, that way, all over the place. Balagan, confusion, right? And then you turn it around, you see a beautiful, beautiful portrayal of a field with sunset, right? Wow, gorgeous. How does that compare to the back of it? I see the back. I always see Balagan. I always see this world. There's no good. What's good? What's good about what's happening around us right now? When we go to the next world, we'll be able to see that beautiful sunset, that beautiful field. We'll be able to see the whole picture. In this world, it's olam ne'elam, melashon ne'elam, it's hidden. We don't understand. We don't see. We can't comprehend. And so we judge it based on what we see. And we say, Hashem, you're the judge of truth. You know truth. But a tzaddik, even in this world, tzaddikim b'mitatam nikraim chayim. When they leave this world, they're called alive. Because even in this world, they can see good from bad. They can differentiate the good from the bad. And we know Rabbi Akiva, when he went to the open field, the mountains, after the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, shualim alchim ba, he saw foxes. And all the Rabbanim were crying, look at the desolate Yerushalayim, look at the Har HaBayit, look what, there's nothing left. They were crying. And Rabbi Akiva was laughing. Rabbi Akiva was rejoicing because he saw the potential for the good that will be rebuilt there. He saw that this will be the beginning of the rebuilding, that it's not destruction for no reason. That tzorech yerida aliyah, right? Everything, whenever there's a down, there's an up. Whenever you're going down, know that there's going to be a time for you to rise higher. It's for you to do your avoda. It's for your challenge. It's in order for you to grow, right? And how many we see now in the Mitzrayim? We just went through Mitzrayim. We just went through Yetziat Mitzrayim. What Bnei Yisrael had to go through, avoda zara, right? Tumah, the tumah shebatumah. Not everybody was zoch even to leave Mitzrayim. 4/5. 4/5 were left. They didn't leave. They didn't want to leave. They didn't see the good. We have to be from the Ma'aminim of Rabbi Akiva to see the good. And like we're saying here, Gamliel is explaining, how do we know about Olam Haba? It says even tzaddikim are able to witness and see good here in this world. They accept love. They accept with love whatever Hashem decrees upon them, right? That when Rabbi Akiva's body was being, combed, there were combs that were combing his skin. What they suffered, the Asara Ruge Malchus, he was one of them. And he said, now I'm able to fulfill, when we say, now I can serve Hashem with my nefesh. I can give up my soul. And consequently, through accepting this bad, we're serving Hashem. And it's joy. It gives him joy. A tzaddik feels joy from doing avodas Hashem. And that's what Rabbi Akiva felt. I'm doing avodas Hashem, even in giving away my nefesh. It's been told that the Chasam Sofer testified that when the only daughter of his Rebbe, Rav Nassan Adler, passed away, he made the bracha Baruch Dayan HaEmet with the same joy as on Simchas Torah. He wasn't happy that his daughter passed away, chas v'shalom, but he was able to perform the mitzvah of being mekayim, this bracha of saying you have to say Baruch Dayan HaEmet when someone passes away. That Hashem, you're the judge of truth, and I accept it. That's what it means that he did it with joy. So we see that even in this world, there's a mitzvah to bless Hashem for the bad with a form of happiness, with a way that we do it b'simcha, and not begrudgingly. That's accepting. That's Emuna. And our obligation is to work on this and to try in this world to reach this recognition, says Rav Gamliel, that we now make the bracha, Baruch Dayan HaEmet. What should we be doing? We should be able to say it b'simcha, right? We're not able to reach the recognition, totally reach the recognition of the world to come. But nevertheless, we must try as hard as we can to work on our Emuna and to say this bracha with simcha. Seemingly, he says, this is the primary feature of the world to come, to delight in the peace that comes with the recognition of all the good of the omnipotent. Hashem is kol yachol. He can do everything and anything. And I have to accept it, that this is his will. that sometimes we have lost, like we have now in the war, all the chayalim. We dedicate the shiur Leilu Nishmat Benjamin Erli, Benjamin Meir Ben Rachel, because we see and we recognize that there's still Emuna and Bitachon, that we're growing, that we're learning, that we're mechazek ourselves. And I got this inspiration from his dear mom at the funeral when she spoke about how she wants everyone to take upon themselves something in the merit of her son, that he passed away, but he still lives with us. And she wanted people to take upon themselves to learn about Emuna and Bitachon. And so I decided to start this year. We all could be mitchazek in our Emuna. We all could be mitchazek in our simcha of doing a mitzvah, even though it's hard right now. It's so hard right now to see the good. We're in times of war. We're in times of pain. We're in times of loss. So many bereaved families. But we see Tov because we know Hashem is preparing us for Tov. He's preparing us for the Geula Shlema Be'ezrat Hashem. We're living the Chevle Mashiach right now. He says here that someone who will ascend these levels of Emuna until he attains living with this recognition in this world will be classified as being distinguished and prominent, or ready to enjoy a semblance of Olam Haba in this world. We are able to experience Olam Haba in this world when we're mitchazek in our Emuna. However, someone who lives his life in this world like a senseless animal, says Rav Gamliel, without contemplation, devoid of Emuna, when the time is going to come for him to ascend to the next world, he'll have to go through Gehenna. He'll have to go through the toil of having to suffer until he acknowledges that whatever the merciful one does, he does for the best. Kol man David rachmana letav avid. And sometimes we have to go through the suffering to see that. But we shouldn't. We should be zocha to see it here in this world by being besimcha, by accepting upon ourselves emuna and bitachon. And he brings David HaMelech when he says, Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. I said Hashem before me always. The first pasuk that the Shulchan Aruch starts with, right? The Kitzur Shulchan Aruch starts with. And the word lenegdi literal means that Hashem, I place Hashem against me, before me or against me. The significance of this, that even when Hashem deals with me in a way that I perceive, Rav Gamliel says, I perceive that Hashem is against me, such as when I experience hardships, suffering, such, nevertheless, after I consider that it's Hashem who is lenegdi, if Hashem is the one who's against me, I know it's for the good. I know it's for the best. So I'm not upset that Hashem is concealing himself in the garments of din sometimes. He conceals himself in his judgment in the garments of din. The source of everything that happens is his endless rachamim, that Hashem really loves me. And Hashem is Avinu Malkeinu. First, he's our Father. Then he's our King. First, he serves with rachamim. And then he serves with din. And this is what we have to remember, that Hashem is chesed, kulo tov. And with this kind of emuna, a person will be able to reach remarkable heights, to be able to the extent that he will live in this world as if he is already living in the world to come. He will be a himmelmensch, a heavenly person, says Rav Gamliel, who will merit the fulfillment of the bracha that may you see the world to come in your lifetime. Meaning in this world, he will have the enjoyment and the tranquility like what exists in the next world. And although it's impossible to totally attain these feelings in this world, as we mentioned, nevertheless, this should always be the attitude and the method of a person's avoda. And with this, we're going to end as we see that Rav Gamliel is teaching us an important lesson, that really a person can live in this world as if they are in the next world, that they have emuna and bitachon, and they trust, and they see that what Hashem does is good. And with this, we do what we said in the past, we go into gratitude. When we go into gratitude, we appreciate everything that Kadosh Baruch Hu does for us on a daily basis. So, da Abba, I have my life, I have my body, I'm functioning, I'm talking, I'm walking. I have all my needs. I open the fridge, there's plenty of food. There's plenty of fruits, so many colors, so many shapes, so many tastes. Thank you, Hashem. I go outside, I see the blossoming trees, the fruits, the colors of the flowers blossoming so beautifully, the sunshine, the beautiful wind, the ocean waters. Whatever I do and every day, I thank Hashem. I see it, and I see it's for me to enjoy. What do I have to complain about? Of course, a person lives with challenges that are thrown at him every single day. But if you look at a challenge as an opportunity for growth, you're going to say, thank you, Abba. You gave me another chance to grow. You gave me another chance, another opportunity to be Bitachon. Every day when you count Sfirat Omer, look at the Sfira. There are so many chats that talk about the lessons. I'm going to be posting it as well in my Living Inspired group. So many lessons to learn from each midah, and there's a midah within a midah. Malchut shebegvura. I think that's where we're up to. We are in the kingship of discipline, meaning to say our discipline is like to its max today. And yesterday I posted the beautiful picture of our heroes. Those are our heroes of Gevura. They teach us how to have Gevura. Young children, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, who are serving to protect our country. They're going out there. The first thing they did before they went out is gathered in tefillah, gathered in Emuna, gathered in chizuk, in positivity, in gratitude, because they know that's going to bring them Yeshuot and Besorot Tovot. May we merit Be'ezrat Hashem and the schut of our Emuna and the schut of our Bitachon and the schut of our working on our voda of gratitude. May we merit to see the Geula Shalema Be'ezrat Hashem and the Geula Pratit in our own personal lives with our own self. Karov v'mira b'yameinu, amen. Any questions or comments, ladies? You can unmute yourself because you're all muted. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Question, comment?
Great share. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Baruch Hashem. Thank you for Rav Gamliel and Rav Avigdor Miller Zatzal. Navdi ben Chaim l'chaim. Baruch Hashem. Any questions or comments? Because otherwise I'm going to put you guys on hold because my grandmother's calling me. She's getting frustrated. Rachel, Pearl, you have anything you want to share with us?